Hey guys, Maniac here with diskreader 117.
Really?
And we're just back from PAX. This is my first PAX. It was your first PAX. How was PAX? The funny part was, of course, that we went, but we went under different circumstances. I went through the site, so I basically got my media badge right here. And you went because you bought.
I bought the 3-day passes.
Yeah, you bought the 3, which sold out.
Yeah, I bought it back in November.
Yeah. Was it money well spent?
Yes, it was.
Really? What'd you do?
I went to, of course, all around all the booths, checking out all the new games, all the new stuff that people had. I was able to test out Monday Night Combat or Brawl, something like that.
Monday Night Combat, yeah.
Yeah, which is in beta right now.
That's cool.
And that was pretty fun. I got a bunch of codes from that for special armor unlocks and stuff, only available at PAX. And that was the main booth I actually hung around a lot because they were giving out free stuff and you can play every 10 minutes pretty much. What about you?
What platforms? Did they have like demo systems?
It was PC.
It was PC? That's
PC.
Cool. That's cool. I basically did twofold. I did preview some of the games. The problem was that some of the games had very, very long lines, especially on Saturday. And I didn't get to see as much as I wanted to. I wanted to review a lot more for the site. In fact, actually, I got requests from a lot of people. Did you get to see Assassin's Creed 3? Did you get to see Borderlands 2? Sorry, I couldn't. I wanted to. I really did, but the lines were just cut off, not even midday.
Yeah.
But what I did get to see was I actually got to enjoy, and I got some of the swag here actually from some of the stuff I got to see. I was at the Sega booth. Sega!
Actually, everyone was surprised to see Sega there. No one was expecting them to show up.
Yeah, they were there. They were showing Sonic the Hedgehog Episode 2,
yep.
And they were showing, of course, Aliens Colonial Marines, which I got this from seeing that, and you guys can actually see a preview about that on my website. If I had one complaint about that, actually no, I don't have any complaints about the game itself. I actually thought it was pretty good. And you guys can read my comments about this. I also got to hang out with the Twisted Pixel guys, who were awesome. I basically spent most of my Saturday at the Twisted Pixel booth, just like you were probably at the Monday Night Combat booth.
Yeah.
I think the time I spent most of the time was at the Twisted Pixel booth.
Yeah.
And those are the guys who made Explosion Man, Ms. Man, my favorite Xbox Live game, Comic Jumper, and the Maw, and the Gunstringer, the Kinect game, the Gunstringer. They were demoing all their games there. Giving people the opportunity to demo them. They were selling T-shirts, they were selling statues, and they signed the Captain Smiley statue that I wanted.
So is that your favorite booth there?
That probably was. And the cool thing was they actually had Chainsaw doing performances once a day, I think. Chainsaw is their relative music guy doing acoustic live performances. That was awesome seeing that. So you had the booth, good guys, really a bunch of good guys. So I think that was probably my best memory. Also got to see the Red versus Blue panel. That was mired in controversy.
I had just missed the entrance to that by about 10 minutes. So
I went because you told me you were going to be there. We split up.
Yeah, I missed it by about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I was a little mad about that, but I did get to see a video offline. Thank you for whoever posted that video of the panel. I got to see it, even if it was a couple days late.
I saw a man strip to his underwear and dance. You can't unsee that. You just can't. Did they censor that in the video out of curiosity? No, you saw it too. Yeah, Keith Apicary. I know that's not your real name. I think your name is what, Nathan or something like that?
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
He is banned from PAX forever now.
Really? They banned him forever?
They finally had enough of it. They finally banned him from PAX, and if he does the same thing at E3, they said that they're going to ban him there too.
He already has been banned from E3 once. He couldn't come back.
Yeah, he's not allowed to come back to PAX East at all now. We were about to go see his booth. We went over there. Big piece of duct tape right over the booth. Closed. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, to be perfectly honest though, at least they were being fair. Yeah. I mean, he shouldn't have done that to begin with, but then again, that is what he did. I really don't, actually no, I take it back. I'm not going to make an opinion about whether or not he should have or shouldn't have done that. I wish I hadn't seen it, but you know what, that's just me.
Well, I don't think they're so mad at the part that he did that in the panel itself, but the fact that he was actually running around the convention floor doing that.
Oh, he was?
Yes, he was running around the convention floor doing that.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. I was in other spots of the convention floor.
Yeah.
Also, other stuff that was cool that I got to check out. They had a retro arcade setup, free play. And I know that there were some of the people I usually frequent online, some of the boards I frequent, they had a Space Ace. They had a Space Ace arcade game. And I don't know if it's because, I don't know, but I could not get past the second level because I think the joystick was busted. But then again, everybody makes that complaint. But I think that the joystick was busted on that Space Ace the second day. I mean, if anybody can tell me if down worked out of curiosity on that, because I think down was broken. The down on the joystick. Yeah. Because I hit down and it would not go down, so my ship kept crashing. But I was glad to finally be able to play that game in its original format. Don't get me wrong.
So you can only go 3 directions.
Right. You can only go 3 directions. Remember, they require 4.
Yeah.
At least that version did. I've heard some versions require 8 or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a fun. That was cool. That was a cool setup. They had some pretty cool arcade games and pinball machines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They had a console free play area. They had an open stage for Dance Central.
Dance Central, Rock Band Blitz. They had a big area set open for free play computers. Go in there and play a computer for an hour, I think it was.
If there were 2 setups, I think were probably my favorite. I know we're going back and forth and stuff like that. If there were 2 setups, I think were probably my favorite. One was the Xbox booth. Microsoft really knew what they were doing.
They probably had the biggest booth there, but they took up all the room with like about between 6 or 8 Kinects for people to test out.
It was room. It was room well spent. I mean, like I said, they had plenty of space, but they were showing a lot. They had a bunch of Kinect games that they were showing.
They had the new Star Wars one.
Right. They had, and in the center they had all the new Xbox Live Arcade games, including Trials, the new Trials version. I got to demo Fable Heroes, which was pretty fun actually. I've never played Fable. I have seen Fable Journey. I saw that demo at last year's E3, so I was interested in the Fable games after that, and I got to play. It was fun, it was fun. And the thing was like with that setup that they had, they could demo a lot of people over a long period of time. They really had, and on the back they had Microsoft Flight. They had some PC systems set up, and you could just grab a PC and play Microsoft Flight. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that too. I got to see that game too. Some other cool stuff I got in here since we're going through this stuff. Devil May Cry HD by Capcom. Got this poster. Some of my other videos I gave my friend Twitch. Diablo 3. A lot of posters being given out.
Yeah.
I gave away my Bioshock posters.
A lot of posters, a lot of buttons, a lot of lanyards, and a lot of bags.
This was all I was able to get from the Rockstar booth. I got an email from Rockstar saying that they wanted me to set up an appointment with them, so I gave them a time. They never got back to me when I checked to make an appointment with them. They were already full up and they didn't have my name on file. I have no idea why. These guys were usually pretty good. I mean, I got to see Max Payne 3 demo last at New York Comic Con. I don't know what was going on, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They might have just gotten overwhelmed or something like that. That's understandable. Yeah. They were showing multiplayer, and I got to basically all I was able to get was this book, which is showing maps.
Yeah, that's better than nothing.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I'm really not too much looking forward to the multiplayer on this game. I'm looking forward to the single player, and I got to see that. I think they were just demoing the multiplayer, though. So there's that. No, it's just a magazine. They had some of the arcades stuff. Alienware, Alienware was there. And PNY. Some of the hardware manufacturers were there, which was pretty cool. So that's all the stuff I basically got here. But I think probably one of my best memories. You know what? You go first. What were your best memories? Your best experiences? What happened at the event that you thought was the best?
Well, I was actually really happy to see the Rooster Teeth booth. I was looking to see Jack from Achievement Hunter there, but
he wasn't there. No, he wasn't.
He wasn't at the booth at least when I was there.
No, he wasn't. As far as I know,
he was at the panel.
Oh, he was. He was.
Yeah, he was the one on the way right.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
With a big beard.
Okay, then I was confusing it with someone else. Okay.
Yeah, you were thinking of Jeff probably.
I was thinking of Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff was there. He wasn't at the booth at the time that I was, but I did get to meet. I can't remember his name. He did the voice of Tucker in Red vs. Blue.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't meet him. I got to shake hands with him. I didn't have anything for an autograph, unfortunately. But I also got to get a couple shirts there and stuff. So
that's nice.
I really did like that Rooster Teeth booth. What about you?
Twisted Pixel booth was probably one of my just awesome. Like I said, they all signed my Captain Smiley statue. I got Chainsaw signature. I got the owner of the company signature. Nice. And I got one of the guys whose name I can't remember now off the top. I can't remember his name. It might have been Bear. The guy's last name might have been Bear. Might have been. It wasn't Frank. It wasn't Frank. Because Frank wasn't there. Frank was the guy in the beard commercials. Going your move on. He wasn't there. He was still in Texas. But Chainsaw was the other guy in the beer commercials, and he was there doing that stuff, and that was cool. So there was that experience. That was pretty fun. Other favorite experiences, obviously, the Red versus Blue panel was awesome. Actually, I also got to see the Q&A session, the first Q&A session on Friday with the two Penny Arcade guys, Tycho and Gabe. That was great. That was a great Q&A. I actually got in there about 45 minutes early because I wanted to see the Red versus Blue panel, but when they saw that I had a media badge, they let me right in.
Wow.
They said, you know, the auditorium wasn't full. There were still some spots in the back, or you know, 2 rows in the back that were still plenty open. When the guys saw my media badge, they're asking me, what am I doing here? I'm basically saying, I'm just here to see the show. And they said, oh, they just let me right in. They said, go ahead, take a seat. We're not going to stop you. And they could have if I didn't have a badge, but no, they when they saw that, and I got to sit in the Penny Arcade panel, and that was hilarious. That was really funny. They had 2 guys trying to pull pranks on him. In fact, the whole group pulled pranks on him. I think these guys were toting around potatoes for 2 or 3 days. Guy asked his girlfriend to marry him in like a really, really nerdy kind of way. It was a great, you know, that was a great event. I know they were doing other ones, but the only one I sat in on was Fridays. That was cool though. That was a good time. So those were all your favorites?
I also like the Borderlands one. They had a nice setup show.
They did have a nice setup.
Showing us the statues of
all the nice
40 characters that they had. But the line was extremely long.
Oh yeah, the lines for, if I'm going to just say it, lines for basically the following games were, if you got to see these games, you probably got to see one of them, and that was if you were lucky. Borderlands 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Max Payne 3, Aliens Colonial Marines. And Lollipop Chainsaw. If you got to see any of those games, you are lucky. Because those lines were basically cut off not even midday. Yeah. And those lines were like, those were at 3.5 hour marks basically. Yeah. As far as if I have one thing that, since we're going to go into right now, we're going to segue into things we didn't like. I thought the venue was really nice. I thought that it was organized pretty well. Yeah. But I think that there were 2 problems, and I don't blame the Penny Arcade guys for this because it wasn't their, you know, obviously this was not their decision. I blame some of the publishers, not all the publishers, but some of the publishers did not take into account the scope of the event. They just did. Microsoft did. Twisted Pixel did. Your guys did. The guys that you were talking about did. But those were just a few that did. Yeah. I mean, there were plenty that didn't. Yeah. And the reason, and what they basically did is that you didn't realize that you had an event that was sold out for months. And because of that, you not only had an event sold out for months, but you knew there was going to be a lot of people there if it was going to be at capacity. Yeah. So you should have set up your booths or your systems or your demo systems to have a large influx of people and to be able to accommodate that. So that way you can demo as many people as possible and get the lines moving as quickly as you can. Sure, you want to have a 30-minute demo of your game. I understand that. But let 30 people, 45 people in to see it. You know, set up accordingly. Don't let 5 people in every half hour. You'll never get anywhere.
One step I did see a bit of problem. I mean, I know that they had that big area in the back open for people to come in at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. But I think that they definitely could have shortened it down a lot and spread out the booths a bit more because the booths were definitely very tight together, especially a lot of the larger ones. E3's was worse though. I gotta say, I didn't mind the booth spacing. I do think they needed a bigger venue though. They definitely needed a bigger venue, especially with that floor, with the main floor. Now, don't get me wrong, the main room that basically Rooster Teeth was in, the Penny Arcade guys were in, the main room was plenty big enough for the capacity. That was not, anybody that was in that room was good. You know, anybody that, you know, you had a capacity. The other rooms, as far as I know, I wanted to get in on like the Bioshock one that Ken Levine was speaking at. Just barely made it, couldn't make it, just barely. But like I said, I don't feel bad. It was at capacity. I understand that. I respect that. They gave me a nice poster, which I gave to Twitch for my troubles. That's fine. You know what? I understand that. I don't feel any hard will, you know, about that. I really think they should have had bigger venues though, because by that second day, I can't honestly tell you who had the main hall. Yeah. I mean, all the major venues that I was interested in, all the major events were all in the smaller booths. BioWare's, certainly. A lot of people were complaining. BioWare had one booth all to themselves, one basic lecture hall all to themselves. It was nowhere near as big as it should have been. They should have had a much bigger room. There was a lot of big booths there. Yeah. Microsoft had a big booth. The World of Tanks place had a big booth. Assassin's Creed had a pretty decent sized one.
It still wasn't big enough though.
No.
Not for Assassin's Creed.
Borderlands was pretty big booth. Monday Night Conquest.
Again, that wasn't big enough either.
Nope. What was it? The World's Fastest Shooter one.
I noticed that one.
Yeah.
I noticed that one. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the game, but that was a big booth. There was a lot of big booths there. Sega had a pretty good sized booth.
Now, don't get me wrong. There were plenty of venues that actually, plenty of exhibitors that showed relatively good stuff. I mean, I think that when you're dealing with PAX, and by the way, PAX exhibitors take notice of this. If you're going to do a PAX booth, the open booth setup for PAX works best. This is not E3. You're basically got, number one, you got a smaller venue. E3 would be literally double that size. It's not the Penny Arcade guy's fault. It's because the LA Convention Center has two main halls, basically. And they fill that at capacity too. But you know what? That means that there's more stuff that can be shown. So, again, not Penny Arcade's fault. This is Boston. You basically got the venue that you got.
Well, they definitely got a bigger place than they did last year.
Right, exactly.
Last year it was very small and crowded.
Yeah, so, you got that. You basically got that. But the fact that they had the two halls worked in their favor. Worked in E3's favors. They should definitely, you realize that that worked in the publisher's favor. But in this case, because you have so little that you can show, so little spot that you got, you basically, I think the open booth concept that Microsoft did worked best. And also I saw some other guys do this. I think Alienware did an open booth. A few other people did an open booth. It worked pretty well, I thought. The exhibitors, like, the Rooster Tooth guys, the Countertops, Mega 64 guys were doing it. That'll work. That'll work just fine. But again, those were just smaller guys, meet and greets and stuff like that. Great, wonderful. That's perfectly acceptable. You let everybody in to say hi to your favorite guy and everything else. That worked. I thought that worked pretty well too.
Yeah, that worked very well.
And what else do you think? You're gonna go back next year?
Oh, definitely.
We missed the concerts.
Yeah.
The other thing I forgot to mention was this thing had to be during Easter. I was not allowed to be not home during Easter. My family insisted I be home for Easter. And because of that, I missed out on Sunday. And I greatly regret that. I also missed out on Saturday night.
The Sunday was definitely probably very empty there.
That's what I was told, too. I spoke to a guy in the BioShock line, really nice guy, he was a lawyer. And he and I were just shooting, he was talking about getting into the business, about the producing business. He wanted to become a producer. And I was telling him about the business and everything else from my perspective. And it's great. I told him, it's like, dude, you want job security, you become a producer. But the problem is getting in on it. And so he and I were just shooting back and forth, and he told me he wanted to bring his girlfriend in for the next day. And I said, probably. As far as I knew, it wasn't sold out. Did Sunday sell out?
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did.
I know Saturday did by December, Friday did by last month.
Friday did last week or the week before.
Yeah, it did about a week before.
Yeah, it did not sell out until at least a week before the event. Trust me, Friday did not sell out. I mean, it did sell out, but as far as I knew, it didn't sell out until just before the event started.
Because I don't think people really realized that it was Good Friday that Friday, so a lot of people had that day off.
Yeah, and plus a lot of people that want to be there that Friday probably got 3-day passes and everything else. Because actually 3-day passes in advance was a pretty good deal. It was. It was
a lot better. Me and my cousin bought our tickets at the same time when we were looking at it. It's like, well, we can buy 2 1-day passes since we're only going Friday and Saturday. Or we can buy 1 3-day pass.
And it's cheaper.
It was about $10 cheaper than buying 2 separate passes.
Exactly. So, you know what? By all power to you. And by the way, my pass, because it's a media pass, is nothing.
Yeah.
However, you had access to stuff that I didn't. In particular, you could play in the tournaments and stuff like that. I was not eligible for those. So, guys trying to get in on the media passes, if you're eligible, by all means, I recommend getting them. But just be aware that you're not going to get a full ride on these things. The same thing happened with New York Comic Con. Yeah. But by the way, though, I certainly will be applying for any further ones, of course. And I got to say, I really appreciate the PAX guys for giving me the A-OK for that, because I have a small site. You know what? I have a small site. And these guys treated and respected me, and I cannot tell you that I have all the love in the world for you guys because of how wonderful you guys treated me. And I will be applying again, you can be sure of that.
Yeah.
So, you want to slap a cherry on that? What do you want to do?
What do you mean?
Cherry on top, man. Finale. End it. Like a Sunday.
Overall, PAX is great. It wasn't as crowded as I actually expected it to be.
Don't know it. Sunday! It was a ice cream sundae! That's older than you. That's like older than me. That's how do you not know that statement? Ice cream sundaes have existed for the last 50 years. That statement is probably older than the eagle has landed. Well, a lot are, but sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
Well, I found it to be a very great day. It was definitely set up very well, and they tried getting as many people to test as much stuff as they can. Giving away a lot of free stuff, which I was happy to take.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun.
My one regret was I wish I could have seen more. But you know what? That's on me as well because I probably could have seen more Sunday.
But the one thing you gotta remember about seeing more is seeing more meant waiting lines for a while than getting everything. Right.
And that was another concern is like these lines were like 3.5 hours and stuff like that. Obviously the event also got into its own controversies and stuff like that. But I really, that's like for the people that were there. It didn't really affect them really at all. As far as I know, there was no controversy or disruptions or anything like that, other than Keith Apicary, what he was doing. But that was just in jest and stuff like that. I mean, there was nothing bad happened, nothing like that, or nothing that ruined my day.
The convention went very well.
Yeah, I thought so too. So, props to the PAX organizers for that. And
we're looking forward to next year.
Yeah. So, by the way, if you guys are interested in any of my previews, check out my website, gameaccess.net. I'm sure you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing any videos on your channel?
Yeah, after Halo 4 has just been announced more with multiplayer, I'll be going through the Game Informer and telling everyone about the new info coming out on multiplayer.
All right, well, check Diskreader's channel for that one. His channel is youtube.com/diskreader117.
Yep.
So, take care, guys. Until next time, this is Maniac, and this is Diskreader.
See you later.
Take care.